drug dealers of Reddit. What is the strangest thing you have been offered in compensation for drugs? Ex-user of opiates here. My dealer would only give me the drugs if I gave him my blades and allowed him to check me for any cuts. I was in a seriously dark time and he helped me in a lot of ways. Eventually, once I started to get better, he refused to sell me any drugs and also made it clear to his friend dealers that I was blacklisted. One of the reasons I turned my life around. Wholesome. Former dealer cook. Did time. Straightened up now. You get offered all kinds of things. Sexual favors, stolen goods, whatever they scavenged. Someone once tried to make a purchase from me by offering a wadded up ball of copper wire the size of a beach ball. Looked like some big tangled bird's nest of various gauges of stripped wiring. Heavy as frick. I turned it down. One that made me do a double take was 2 of those 1-gallon Ziploc bags of nickels. I told him to go find a coin store and get back to me. You see tons of stolen phones and tablets and laptops. But if you're smart you don't touch anything that can be tracked through GPS or other location services. Like, yeah, there's ways around those things, but why bother? One dude tried to trade me 2 dead possums and a fishing pole for a sack. That was an interesting encounter. For over a decade I had a grass for grass deal with my guy. I cut his grass once a week for a couple grams. He just really hated mowing the lawn. Cutting grass freaking sucks. I'd probably trade sexual favors for someone to mow my lawn. Some dude offered to steal his uncle's entire Star Wars collection. I've seen the collection he was talking about. I'm assuming it was over 50 grand in collectibles. I wanted it bad. Thought about it for a few days, but bro code, nerd respect, and staying humble made me reject his offer. I couldn't even imagine losing something like that. Knock that nephew out. Had a guy who would pay me in turtles, like those miniature red slider turtles you get at fairs and carnivals. The first time I was cool with it. He knew I loved reptiles and I had wanted a new pet ever since my bearded dragon died. RIP Shlomo. Anyway, this guy would sometimes pay me actual money, but every once in a while he would claim he really needed a dime or something small but didn't have the money, so he would opt to pay me in turtles. Now, by all means, I love animals, but I'm running a business here. I can't feed myself with turtles. They are too small to eat even if I wanted to. But strange enough, I accepted the payments. 3 months later and this guy is buying in bulk, which is great for me because less weight on me equals more money. But this freaking guy was matching what he was buying in turtle weight. After the first couple times I kinda got scared because I thought, where the frick is this man getting these turtles? Mind you, I'm from the northeast. We aren't really known for our reptile population. So here I am accepting turtle over fist trying to save each of these turtles because I suspect that this guy is somehow acquiring these animals through illegal methods. Long story short, the guy gets arrested on exotic animal charges and does 10-25 years in state maximum. I thought I was the criminal, but this freaking dude is the kingpin of reptiles. Unbelievable. I dealt small amounts of various drugs in addition to tending bar while in college. One of the Mexican kitchen guys wanted a bunch of ecstasy, $350 US, and I obtained it for him. When it came time to pay up, he said he only had $100 but he'd get the rest to me in a week or so. I was having a Super Bowl party that I had invited everyone to, and a few days later he asks if he could work off the balance by catering the event. I agreed and assumed he would flake. But homeboy showed up 30 minutes early with some of the most fire Tex-Mex food imaginable. Trays upon trays of anything you could think of. It was unreal, and probably cost him more than he owed me. It was a big reason we served Tex-Mex at my wedding, because I knew a guy who could throw down. His catering company did a great job that day, but he did an even better job as one of my groomsmen. Honestly, Mexicans don't like to bail. If he just walked away with drugs, meh, there's crappy people everywhere. But once he made a commitment to work in order to get it right, you better believe crap was set in stone. And Tex-Mex food at a wedding sounds amazing. I used to sell weed in college, nothing major. I had about 12 clients, but the money was good enough that I never had to buy my own stuff, so it worked out. One day I came home from my comprehensive exams in sociology. It was the only time I had never known if I had passed or failed a test. I was stressed to say the least. So I twisted up a joint. And boom, munchies hit like crazy. Like I need food. Knock at my door. Some chemical engineering guy brought me a freaking vat of chili, like it was at least 10 gallons of chili. All he wanted was an eighth, which was $35. I gave him that and the chili was so good I tracked him down and gave him another. Did you pass the exam? Someone else's stolen Christmas presents. We made him put them back. That's the real meaning of Christmas right there. Not a drug dealer, but I helped my weed guy graduate by doing his online English homework in exchange for weed. I was broke, and it was easy work, so I had no problem doing it, lol. A punch card to a local sandwich shop that had 9 punches and just needed one more for a free sub. So, almost a free sub. Sounds like a great deal to me. When my friends and I went to pick up $10 worth of weed, we were broke high schoolers. We got 2 Little Caesars pizzas before we went to our dealer. We ate about half the pizza waiting for our dealer to come out, and when he did, he jumped into the back seat where the pizza was. He saw the pizza and got super excited and said, "Y'all got pizza?" with his eyes wide on the box. My friend told him, "Yeah, we'll give you the rest for $20 worth of weed." He said yes and gave us the weed and took the pizza. So we got $10 worth of extra weed for $3 worth of pizza. A girl once offered to show me her boobs for $5 off of her weed. I was 16. I said yes. Worth it. It's usually $5 per tee. You scored a deal. At one point during my time working with the state was informed that a client had offered her children to her C dealer in exchange for more C. Her C dealer was aware she was seeing us for treatment and proceeded to call us and report the situation. The children were removed from her care. What an upstanding C dealer. Not the dealer, but I have a pretty ideal, symbiotic arrangement for my drugs. Buddy likes to garden, eat fish, and drink beer. I like to brew beer, catch fish, and smoke bud. Rigged up a little shed with ventilation that directs CO2 from fermentation into his greenhouse. Spent grain from the brews and waste from the fish is used for compost. No money changes hands, rewards reaped by all. Not me, but a guy I got sober with. Traded a woman a whole bunch of pills for her kids' social security numbers and info. Claimed them as dependents on his taxes. Whoa, that's worth like thousands of dollars. WTF though, lol. Now that guy is going to sell their identities for way more. Not a drug dealer, but I once found a bag of weed in the high school parking lot and some kid I was with said, "I'll give you my Xbox 360 with the games for that." Oh yeah dude, sure, I was going to throw it away anyways. And that's how I got my first gaming console. My parents asked where I got it and I told them the truth and they were like, "Huh, I mean, sure?" This was in the 90s. A school near me was going through some major renovations. They were practically going to be built again from the ground up. Anyways, a district administrator tried to trade one of those big outdoor school signs for some C. Hey, I don't know the values involved, but it'd be pretty cool to have one of those giant signs. In college I had a buddy whose house we would always hang out at. He sold all sorts of stuff. The best offer he ever got was from this 50-year-old lifelong junkie woman. She was a landscaper in her better days, and once she ran out of money she started offering my friend plants. He rolled with it, and a few months later he had a beautiful garden in his backyard. She even dug a pond and made a koi pond. Pretty good deal for both parties involved, and a win for us friends too because we got to chill and smoke and an awesome backyard. I used to know an older woman who was a landscaper junkie. Never imagined that was a thing. I traded a PB&J for pot once. My dealer was hungry and I had a packed lunch. The best deal in here. Obligatory, I'm not a dealer, but I once traded a crap ton of Adderall for a GTX 1070 graphics card. I feel like you got the better end of that deal, lol. Back in the 90s when I was selling a lot of M and ecstasy at raves, I had one dude offer me a gold wedding band for a baggie. I took it and noticed it had some Cyrillic writing on the inside. I took it to a pawn shop I knew that had a Russian owner and he told me it was from a family in Russia that was very connected to the royal family that was murdered during the revolution. I knew the kid and his parents, and I knew he had stolen it from his mother, who was a child of refugees from the revolution. So I just stuck it in an envelope and mailed it back to them. That was a nice move, sending it back. Possibly off topic but same ballpark. I gave a coworker a ride home once and he asked me to hold my hand out. I thought he was going to drop me a $5 bill or something. Instead he placed the smallest nugget of weed I have ever seen in my life in my hand. I tried not to laugh and I don't even think I said thanks, I just nodded and smiled. Pretty sure if I tried to light it on fire in a bowl it would have turned to ash before the smoke made it to my mouth. Fake money, with the understanding that I knew it was fake. Dude's like, just pass it along bruh. Nobody got a no bruh and I'm like, I knew in like 2 seconds. Real money only, bruh. I had a neighbor who dealt weed and probably other harder things but IDK. He was a weird guy, not a bad person but definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer. He accumulated a lot of random stuff because people were always offering him it in trade. The big ones were mostly electronics like a nice TV and consoles, but random things too like paintings and tools and furniture. His house looked a little like a really nice resale shop before his GF put her foot down. Last I heard he got arrested for felony possession while out drinking. My old dealer got his leaky roof fixed by a roofing crew he sold crack to. Sadly, his roof still leaks because his roofing crew smokes crack. Not a drug dealer or user anymore, but once someone offered to trade a box of used children's clothes, a laptop charger, and a single Nike shoe. Obligatory not a drug dealer but my weed dealer has asked me a few really weird favors in exchange for weed. Every time he always asks, mate, I've got a proposal for ye. He's asked me if I had any duty-free tobacco that I could give him in exchange for weed because he thinks UK tobacco duty is too high and he refuses to pay it. He's asked me if I had any alcohol I would exchange for weed after the shops stop selling at 10. I actually done this and got a joint's worth for a shot of amaretto. I gave him a lift in my car round the corner from his house to pick up some Valium and he gave me a gram of weed. He's totally harmless though. He is a good guy and sometimes he has quite good chat so I don't mind doing it. I traded a textbook from a class I took to my dealer for weed when I was in college. He was going to be taking the class the next semester so it was a win-win for both of us. The price of one college textbook should have gotten you a brick of weed. When I was in middle school, someone stole their grandpa's World War II souvenirs to trade for pot. Friend of mine traded him $30 worth of weed for a 1941 Hitler Youth dagger recovered from one of his grandpa's kills. Absolutely gutted. Kids can be so ignorant. Imagine what those souvenirs might have meant to his grandfather. Know a dude who traded his trumpet for some blow. That is so incredibly sad. A trumpet won't get you very much blow. Not a drug dealer but my drug dealing friend once came into the kitchen of the restaurant while I'm chopping celery or something and he's dragging a big huge black garbage bag behind him. He'd already been to prison once and just got back out apparently. I said, "George, is that a F King body?" He goes, "FCK, yeah it is." I gripped the knife a little tighter at that point and looked for the exit. He pulled the garbage bag back and he had 3 huge Alaskan salmon in there. Some guy didn't have enough cash so he paid him in salmon. LOL. I gutted them, cleaned them and then George paid me in salmon. It was good salmon. Man, salmon would be a good freaking deal. That crap is good. In my younger days before being a parent, I sold weed and ended up fronting a lot out and then when the people couldn't pay me they would give me iPads, bongs, knives, and one time almost a gun, but I didn't know if it was stolen so I declined. I accepted almost anything that I thought was useful or cool. The strangest thing I got was a $1 t-shirt. It was just $1 but it was folded into a tiny shirt and I thought it was cute so the kid basically got a gram for $1. I still have it too. Life pro tip. Learn origami to impress your drug dealer so they'll give you a good deal. I used to pay with loose change when I was a poor kid. Weed dealer loved it. His job had vending machines, and I supported his snack habit. Where in the world did you get that much change? Strangest? I've been offered BJ's by both sexes. Every gift card you can imagine. An iguana, pizza, Jimmy John's, $100 bar tab, computers, and iPads. I guess it's not that strange, but I feel like I should say I never accepted any sexual favors or iguanas. How much for the bag? I'd say it's about 1 iguana. Not the dealer, but the trader. When I was a kid I went to Legoland with my family and we each ended up getting a small backpack in the shape of a leg brick that I think came free with our tickets or something like that. Whatever the case, we had a few of them amongst the family. Many years later I couldn't find a backpack, so grabbed one of these little Lego brick backpacks, which were admittedly kind of cool. I went to grab a bag of weed and as soon as my then dealer saw the bag he freaked about it, telling me he'd buy it. I just told him he could have it if I could have an eighth, and he was happy to oblige. My dealer in high school would get people, usually gullible freshmen, to give him their $80 120 graphing calculator in exchange for $10.20 worth of weed. This man made a serious profit off those things. Freaking TI-84s. So expensive, and then after the semester I never used that sucker again. In a darker period in my life, someone once offered to sign the title of their car over to me for a week. I had people wanting to give me gift cards for half of its value. People offering to buy me things from Amazon for half. Coin collections. Jewelry that a magnet wouldn't stick to. Used tires and rims. Lottery tickets. Their girlfriends for one night. But my favorite was a promissory note. Screw all of that. I'm so happy I'm clean now. I don't have to live like that anymore. My dealer hooks me up with enough weed until I get back on my feet if I show up with produce from the farmer's market that happens on Sundays near my house. He's a hippie vegan and loves making fresh squeezed juice, but works on the days the farmer's market is on. I love going to the farmer's market. I love trading carrots, oranges and beets for ganja. I love rolling a blunt while I wait for my dealer make me a freaking fresh squeezed juice. Win, win, win. Weed is legal in California, but until a dispensary offers fresh squeezed juice and a joint while they get me my stuff, I'll stay loyal to my bud and my buddy. I traded some weed for a wood lathe and some hand tools. They were tools I never used anymore. I should start dealing drugs. You have been visited by Moneybird. Upvote in 5,861 seconds and you will get rich. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.